let's click some buttons and see if we start going live. It looks like we are now live. So welcome. I'm just going to double check a couple things, make sure that we're all live. For those who are watching at home, let us know you can hear us. Let us know if our audio or visual are off at all. But we do have a sixth gentleman joining us here. I would say afternoon because that's where I'm at. But we have some people where it's the evening, some people in the morning because we have different accents, different, including Sergeant Pianta, which has a different accent here in America. But so excited. This is our very first episode that we are doing live. We are streaming this. And at least I'm hoping that we're streaming this. I'm always a little nervous every time we're streaming because I'm like, I wonder if I push the right button. So I'll make sure that we're all private. We're not private, and we're hitting all those pieces here. But we have a lot of exciting guests. We have a lot to talk about. We have one of the most unique sets of people here. A lot of people who have not joined us, but we'll start with someone who you're probably very, very familiar with, especially if you've been looking at the top 10 here recently. Welcome, Karim.
Hey, how you doing, Studfit? Good to be back.
It's always good having you, man. And yeah, you've been a hot topic here in the Mario Kart world as you've been crushing top 10. And we'll get into some of your experience and if you're burnt out or not yet, or if your fingers have broken and you literally can't play the game anymore.
Yeah, well, it'll be good to be a part of it again. And I've always listened in on past Kart Talks to see if my name is mentioned, only in the breadth of, I'm starting to get tickets. Not like Karim, but yeah. So, yeah, it'll be good to actually contribute something as well myself. So, yeah, good to be back and good to meet some new faces.
Yeah, talking about new faces, we have two faces who are not new to YouTube. They are new to this channel and new to Kart Talk. Welcome to Matt Aldridge and Sergeant Pianta.
What's up, What's up?
So both of these gentlemen have their own YouTube channel, and a link to their YouTube channel is in the description. So if you like what they brought to the table this episode, or if you don't, just definitely check them out. Leave a subscribe, and we have two kind of different timelines as Matt's launched his channel a couple months ago, whereas Sergeant Pianta is pretty fresh. He might even be within his first 100 subscribers. So you're catching some of these guys on their trajectory, and we're excited to have you both. If you don't mind, we'll start with Matt Aldridge. Where are you calling from? How did you get started in Mario Kart Tour? And why did you launch your own YouTube channel?
Thanks, Studfit. You just have to excuse my voice here because it's 6 a.m. here in New Zealand, and the kids are all asleep, so I'm trying to be quiet. If you hear a knock on the door, you'll know what that is. So I might have to duck off and come back. But yeah, I'm in the south of the world. For those who are uninitiated, New Zealand is not Australia. It's a different country. It's thousands of kilometers away from Australia. Just had to put that out there. Yeah. So I'm not going to do some New Zealand history, but yeah.
You're going to do the dance though, right? You agreed to do the dance.
Oh, a haka, yeah. No, I'm not going to do a haka. Maybe next time. But yeah, so I've been playing the game for about 18 months now, and yeah, it was something that I kind of discovered. Basically, I was my second son was about to be born, and I was kind of just like stuck at home a little bit, and I was like, you know what, I want to play some Mario Kart. I was massively into Mario Kart 64 in my flatting days with some of my mates. And I just love that game. And I wanted to find a way to emulate it on my phone. But when I searched and did a whole bunch of research, I discovered that basically you can't emulate, older consoles on an iPhone. So I just, out of desperation, went to the App Store and searched Mario Kart. And Mario Kart Tour popped up. And I was like, what? I didn't even know this existed. How did I not know this exists? And so I downloaded it, and I was like, yeah, it's just a mobile game. I'd played Super Mario Run, so I wasn't expecting much. And then I downloaded it, started playing around with it. I was like, hey, this is kind of cool. And then, the addiction spiraled from there, right? So here we are 18 months later, playing ACR, having a great time, joining a clan, and my wife laughs at me because she's like, what? When you say you're in a clan, people are like, think that's a gang or something like that. So anyway, I try to just keep that information to people who I'm friends with online, not in my real life. But yeah, that's my history of the game, and I just love that, and I'm loving playing ACR especially. And in terms of the channel, it was kind of accidental. I already had a YouTube channel, and I just decided to upload like a pipe pulling video where I got super lucky. And then it just grew from there, I guess. And but what was really exciting is meeting a good friend of mine, Flo, who, if anyone's checked out my channel, you would have seen Flo. So Flo's a good friend. He's from Austria, and he reached out to me on Discord and let me know about a tool, a piece of software he's spent over 100 hours developing, which is called Ticket Time. And so I saw this tool, and he was sharing it in the OG server, and I thought, man, this has massive potential. So been working with him to build some ACR strategy into the channel and to really develop his software. So I did want to mention it today because he is actually going into a soft launch with the Ticket Time tool. So we'll be able to share a link with that, hopefully in the comments down below, or something like that, soon. But it's a really cool tool. You put your inventory in, and it basically tells you what your best upgrades are for ACR. So that's the YouTube channel. That's what we're building there, and really wanting to grow that.
Very cool, man. So definitely check out Matt and his channel. Moving from channel to channel, Sergeant Pianta, welcome, man. Tell us a little bit about where you're calling from, how'd you get started in Mario Kart Tour, and why'd you create your own YouTube channel?
Great, thanks, Studfit. Good to be here, man. I'm excited. So I'm calling from New Jersey right now. I'm in the States. Roughly the same time as Studfit. It's 2:12 p.m., so not at 6 a.m. like Matt. But I've always been a big fan of Mario Kart, man. Just growing up, I played a lot of Mario spin-offs, Mario Kart Wii, Mario Kart DS. I grew up with those. I'm not too old to be playing 64 when it released. I have played it before, but I grew up mostly with DS and Wii. And I follow a lot of YouTube channels that talk about games, and I saw that Mario Kart Tour was gonna be a thing, and I was like, wow, this is fantastic. I mean, so convenient on the phone. And day one player, man, downloaded it day one, but I was kind of iffy about Gold Pass because I'm thinking about it, I'm like, do I really want to spend money on a mobile game? Like, is that really the route I'm gonna head down? But I mean, little did I know I'd be spending a lot more over the years, but that's another story. So yeah, man, I've played it since day one. I just love the game. I see a lot of people just complain about it, mobile game, gacha game. But like when you're playing it and you're into it, it's fantastic. I mean, when you know all the ins and outs, it's a really fun game. To look forward to each tour. It's really nice. So that's my history with the game, and now with my channel. It's always something I wanted to do. I've watched Sammy D, Carlef, Studfit, Carlos, Shy Guy Card, all the YouTubers, man. And I was like, this seems really cool. Like, these guys are into the game just like me. I would love to do it. And it was literally a spur of the moment thing. I was like, what? I still have my app from when I would edit videos in college. So let me just do it. And that's what happened. I did a video, and it got a solid amount of views for our first video. Got a lot of support from you guys. So that's it. And I'm planning on doing it for the fun of it. Love the community. It's great.
Good, man. Sammy D was very, very helpful in getting my little channel started 2 years ago, and just promoting me and the rundown and everything I was doing. So I've always thought of and kind of taking the mentality of paying it forward. So I've really enjoyed being able to promote Frenzy fans and watch them hit 1,000 subscribers, and talk a lot about Kevin Garrett and what he's doing, and then all the other YouTubers that we've kind of seen come up, and ultimately everyone's trying to bring some value to the community. And every time I see something unique and see something that, hey, no one's doing this, and this person's bringing it to the table, those are the ones I get the most excited about. So definitely check out Sergeant Pianta, and definitely check out his channel. We also have RonnieCash, who does not have a YouTube channel, but he does have very engaged in our community, and he is also from not too far away from Karim in the UK. But very happy to have you, Ronnie. But ultimately, we're going to hear a lot of accents. I'm going to feel like the odd man out just having this plain American accent. But it'll be fun to hear. You might have to say, "Oh, this is Ronnie speaking, not Karim." But welcome, Ronnie. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in Mario Kart Tour, and we're a little bit more about your culture and kind of what keeps you going in the game.
So I started fairly soon after launch, about I think it was Baby Detective Tour, so London Tour. I've always hated the London track since then, but actually hooked from the get-go. Like, I used to buy console games, you know, for the Xbox or whatever. Haven't touched my console in like since I've had Mario Kart Tour. Like, it's sort of become a bit of an obsession, I've got to say. But I would say a healthy one, not for my wallet, but it's helped me gain a lot of friendships. It keeps me happy, you know, it's really important for my mental health as well. And I just absolutely love every aspect of it, apart from a few tours last year where they were a bit fillery, but this year it's been absolutely incredible. I don't mind putting money into the game. I absolutely love it. And I've got a face for radio, so that's why I've stayed away from YouTube. So, but loving all the content that everybody's bringing. I still need to check out the ticket time and your channel a bit more, Matt, and everything, and actually Pianta's as well. But obviously, I've been watching yours from the get-go, really, for Studfit, and everybody brings awesome stuff to the table. I'm quite active in the BAM server, BAM and Gerb server, and that sort of, you know, development in my game, like putting stuff into that the tracker and just seeing, you know, what gaps I've got in my inventory has been, you know, mind-blowing how much I've got better at the game, and it's awesome to see like what other people have upgraded and how it helps them, and then what I need to like look for. But I pull most pipes now because I'm a bit of a whale. I'm not probably your level or probably Karim's level either, but I'm getting there at the so, someone stop me.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're all a little more of a bigger whale than we wanted to be necessarily to start. But ultimately, I'm glad you're here, man, and it's been a pleasure having you in our server, and excited to chat with you more today. We do have another gentleman who will be joining us here shortly, and we'll let him answer those same questions. But I think since we're live, this is a great time to check out who's here and say hello to some of the ladies and gentlemen who have joined us from their afternoon or evening or morning, depending on where they are. I first see Puffton. Hopefully you're doing well, Puffton. Not too far away from... Actually, I think kind of like Puffton's Scottish accent, to me, sounds kind of similar, you know, probably similar to how Karim and Ronnie's accent sounds comparatively, compared to, if you think about Sergeant Pianta and my accent, like we're both not far from each other, but we have totally different accents. And so it's kind of the same thing. You guys aren't too far away, but completely different accents. Hopefully you're doing well, Puffy. I see, and we have a stacked group of questions, by the way. Some about our feelings, some about investments. I'm sure we'll be talking about ACR as well. But if I see specific questions that I would like to pull from the comments, the live comments, I might throw them in there. Specifically, even follow-up questions are great too. So I'll be keeping an eye on that, but the guys have been instructed to hopefully just live in the moment and engage here as we're all talking through. They've all been prepped with a lot of the questions we'll be discussing. But I want to say hi to Sergeant Spike. What's going on, man? How are you doing? Sergeant Spike, obviously another person with a great YouTube channel. Definitely check out Sergeant Spike. We have Nitenja. What's going on, Nitenja? How you doing? I see... Sorry, I skipped over a few. I see, hey, I am Logan. I see Crainbow. I hope I didn't miss anybody else, but we'll be keeping an eye on you guys as we go through the episode. We have our first icebreaker, though, and we'll jump right into it. We'll start with you, Ronnie, if that's okay. But what was your favorite investment of all time? We love investments, right? You know, putting tickets on things and, you know, making the right strategic moves. What was your favorite investment of all time?
Definitely not like the bruisers, apart from the Tiger Bruiser, that's a good one. But all the others, I've put tickets into all of them. They all turned out terribly. Don't have the white bruiser. My favourite has to be Luigi Vacation, though. Before that, I didn't really have any idea how to boombox, but he has saved me so many times. Like the amount of ranked appearances, like he doesn't have that many non-cities based on your rundown sort of stats and everything, but he has saved me literally every single Tour from like tier 70 onwards is probably the only reason why I'm up there, because I don't actually invest massively compared to a lot of people in coin box. So I have quite a few at like 1,190, but not compared to like you guys where you completely max them. And like his start was not great because he overlapped quite a lot with Meowser, like 5 tracks or something. But since then, like he's absolutely killed it. And like some tracks are just designed for him. And I know that's one of our questions late potentially, but some tracks are just like insane for his skill and the action counts and everything. So yeah, easily my best investment. Hopefully Petey Piranha is going to be my next best one as well. So
interesting. Yeah, I will do my own little plug because tomorrow I will be celebrating Boombox Friday, where I'll be spending upwards of 6 or 7 hours just trying to boombox for all cup ranking. So I'm going to take your boy Luigi vacation to 1400 and have some fun.
Go.
So I'm gonna be enjoying my little own vacation here tomorrow. But yeah, he's been having a solid year in general. Certainly a fun skill to have. And I did some plugging in the Bama Gerbs myself. I think I was debating between him or Saddle of You. Saddle of You would give me, I think, 14 tracks, or he would give me a total of 14 tracks all in all, where he'd be my best option. And then I looked at Luigi, and it was like 20 or 21. So I'm going in with Luigi. He's so much fun. As we're
please just watch out for your mental health after that 6 hours of trying to boombox. Like some of it is just disgusting. Like I don't know why we invest in those drivers, but when you get it, it's like nothing better than.
Yeah, I was running through some options with Anteleb, and I said, I don't want to be boomboxing too much. He's like, it's only 7 tracks. I'm like, dude, 7 tracks, that's going to be like 24 hours.
Just 2, please.
Yeah, exactly. We also see Tyler Burbeck, how's it going? I see more rubies, please. How are you doing? So if I see you guys, I'll shout out to you. See Bob Blob Blob, how are you doing, man? Hopefully you're doing well. I see Crazy in the live chat as well. I'll keep an eye on your questions. We'll next hit up with Sergeant Pianta.
All right, so thinking about it, I've had 2 pretty solid investments that I did immediately. So I mean, I could say Meowser, but everyone has Meowser high level now. So I'm just gonna go with, I know it's kind of crazy, but Wario's mustache. I invested into that glider very early, like right off the rip. I bought it in the pack. I bought it 3 times. And I took it to 6 double cap, and man, the coverage it had for me the next few tours was just fantastic. I know it had a couple of the Wario shipyards. It just got random tracks. It has Yoshi's Valley for me too, R I believe, and it's just been caking with me, man. It's been really good. But if you look at it, it doesn't have that many tracks. But for me on my account, it really helped me out. And also the Wicked Topaz. That was a glider. I took to level 6, and it's been helping me out, just covering some gaps. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, we had a couple. What'd you say, Karim?
So not the gaps that you've got, Studfit, hey.
Well, you know what? Anytime you're investing in something early, there is that leap of faith that, like, you're going to get more tracks. I think immediately right off the bat, the Wicked Topaz gave me 3 tracks or something like that. And I think like 2 of them were a Koopa Cape, and like one of them was a Yoshi Valley. And then guess what? If for all cup ranking, I'm using it 3 times. That happens to be the only 3 tracks, though, that I have with it, and that's my best option. But they're all this tour, so I am using it 3 times in all cup ranking this tour. But the buffs it's gotten since, it just hasn't gotten quite as heavy a buff. Now they could be waiting for something, so I'm hoping with you, Sergeant Pianta. I'm crossing my fingers just like you are, hoping for the best. But we'll see what happens. I will say there are a lot of people on our server that went all in on a different variety of different mustaches. I know. I think Antelev was talking up the Luigi mustache, and then I think if I remember right, this be Chris went all in on the Waluigi or the Wario, and so there's a lot of mustaches. I think all of them. I wonder if like there's one person who has all of them at like 700, and just flexing the mustaches like a pure Italian. I like it, man. Matt, what was your favorite investment of all time?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say Luigi Vacation because me and Ronnie, we connect on the on loving Luigi, and I took him up to level 6 double cap pretty quick on my free to play account. But I think I enjoy probably the glider investments the most, and the one that stands out to me is the Starry Great Sale. I think it was during the I think it was the second city tour, when that came back in that great sale pipe, and I went in on that pipe because I didn't have the black great sale. And I got a whole bunch of dupes of the Starry Great Sale, and I wasn't even looking at it. I hadn't looked at its coverage, and it didn't have the best coverage at that point. But man, that thing just went crazy. And I know that everyone's account's different. So some people who have invested in like a couple of other gliders, like Gold Crane, 8-Bit Bullet Bill, Black Great Sale, there's quite a few overlaps there. But that one in particular for my account was just absolutely crazy. And it's still in ranked, even like as recently as like the Doctor Tour and the one with the Cooper Cape as well. So that would be my favorite one. I love investing in gliders, and it's got insane coverage.
Yeah, the interesting part about gliders is there aren't as many as karts, and so you can kind of ride one out a little bit longer. I was kind of late to the Starry Great Sale train, but I'm on the bandwagon. I like it. I'm using it 2 or 3 times this tour as well for all cup ranking. So it was a late one that I said fine. I'm gonna finally do it, and it's been great for me. So I'm sad I'm late, but I'm here either way. So thanks for that. I see in the chat. I mentioned Crazy. I see Andy S. What's going on? Glad you're able to join us live for obviously this is the first time we're doing it live, so you're the first, you're one of one, so congratulations there. I see high mileage, low rent. I see Patty Coffee. What's going on? How are you guys doing? Cool. All right, so Karim, what was your favorite investment of all time? You've probably made more investments than anyone here. Which one was your favorite?
The investment that I probably went with and I've enjoyed the most, I'm not going to say a driver because I think that's too easy. I'm drawn towards a glider, the 8-bit mushroom in a pack, and someone else had commented about how well 8-bit items have done beforehand, and I think it was on a Wario shipyard. I was like, you know what? I think that this was pre level 8. I think it was, and I'm pretty sure it was. And I just went, full hog. I went level 7, triple capped it straight away. And you know what? If it's not in ranked, it's always taken up a bunch of tracks in ACR. I liked its item. I mean, it could be lightning or something, which would be a bit better, but it doesn't interfere with coin box all that much and stuff like that. That was my one, all in, and it's worked out, an absolute treat, and it's like my number one glider. So, I was thinking of a car I could equate to, but there is one. I would have said the Randy Runner a few months ago, but that's not quite at the same level anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. Solid glider. I know there's a lot of people where we did, I think the inventory inspection, we did Draco655, another YouTuber, and we looked at all his investments and everything he could do in the Super 8 mushroom, gave him the most tracks for sure. It was a great investment, and it keeps coming up in a lot of people's investments. I think for myself, a couple investments that I've enjoyed over the years. I want to say the tropical truck, because that was just such a spur of the moment. I had just gotten done setting the bar for myself that I'm not going to go into week 2 pipes for those brand new carts. And then here I was, but I made the exception to go in for items I'm going to take all the way up. So it's at 8,700, and I've been loving it. It's been absolutely bonkers for ranked. Again, it's a small sample size of tours, but I've been loving it. I think a close second would be Mario Tuxedo, because I remember taking him up last year and got into the epic bet with Frenzy fans, to the point where I had to dress up like this guy, Bowser Santa, because of it. But it was one of the first. I don't know. It shocked a lot of people, because I took him to 1,400 immediately, and I remember I got a lot of backlash. A lot of people said that's too early. You can't do that. And it's now part of traditional strategy. You get, I think like literally every coin box after that, like the impression until level 8 came out, which made it a lot tougher, was you take it to level to the max level as soon as possible. So it was, I felt like I didn't necessarily start that trend, but it was controversial at the time, and I remember that's what I always go for, is to catch people off guard. And have some fun with that. Well, talking about Puffy, we have a Puffy. Were you gonna say something about Mario Tuxedo?
No, I was just so sure you were going to say the vampire flyer was your favorite item.
That's a good call.
Sorry, I completely got that wrong.
No, that's a really good call out. You're probably right there. But I think for me, I have to put the tropical truck right now. But yeah, vampire flyer. You know what? I'll move that to 2, and I'll move tuxedo to 3. Good call out there. All right, cool. So talking about Puffy, we have a question from Puffy that was actually submitted last tour, but I really liked it. I wanted to get to it to start us off here. She says, since Mario Kart Tour has become the reason we've all joined Discord communities. Anyone not on Discord, by the way? Okay, so we're all there. She has 3 questions. And she actually has some questions specifically to content creators. But I think it's, I think at the time we had Sammy on there and Frenzy fans, and they have their own servers and everything. But what's been the pros and cons to building your own community on Discord? Second question is, what's been your pros and cons of joining different Discord communities? And then what advice would you have to new members of a Discord community? So I think we've never really talked about Discord communities and what you find in them. But Ronnie, hearing that you do a lot in Bam and Gerbs, which we've brought a lot of people over, such as Bob Blob Blob and Big Brolo and some of these guys in from that server. Even Antelev, that's I think originally where I met him too. And then we have Matt, and you probably have your own clan server, and I'm in the ER server with Karim, and then we have my server. So there's a lot of servers going on. So I'm curious to kind of hear when it comes to Discord communities and what are some reasons that you enjoy Discord? Where do you find yourself kind of gravitating? Or if you get a great run, where's the first place you're turning? Or where do you look for advice? Let's talk about Discord. And if you aren't a member of Discord, highly recommend. It's one of the most fun places to be able to interact with the community. There's so many people that are sharing tips, and for the most part, it's mostly fun. But there are some bad characters that try to spoil it. But for the most part, it's a lot of fun. So who wants to kick us off on Discord?
I mean, I think for me, it was really amazing just discovering Discord in the first place. And when I first downloaded it, I was like, this is so complicated. I'm quite a techie person, but it just looks so overwhelming, and I kind of stayed away. And so I think that's the first thing that comes to mind is it's a little bit of a learning curve when you first use it. If you use Slack at your work, you'll probably be okay. It's like a more intense version of Slack. But I think that's where the downsides kind of end. It's such a great community, and there's it's very community driven. So you feel like you're part of it. You're building something, and you make friends. That's the thing that really surprised me, building these friendships across the other side of the world.
Well, especially for you. Do you know anyone else from New Zealand? I think you're the only one I know from New Zealand in the Mario Kart world.
Actually, I've got to shout out my brother, Acquiesce, OG Acquiesce, who I met in the Frenzy Fan server, and I went, dude, you're in New Zealand? What the heck? And then I was like, come join our clan. You're grinding ACR, come be part of it. And that's just been really cool. That's the only person I think I've met from New Zealand. The only other person I think I met someone who in the in that data tier lists server, the Bam and Gerbs one, who was from Australia, but I think has moved to New Zealand. But I don't know that person quite as well. But
that's Tamara, maybe.
Tamara, shout out Tamara. Yeah.
Very cool. What else, guys? What else do you enjoy about Discord?
I like flexing when I actually do something well, on the game, which isn't obviously. I don't get as high scores as some of you guys, but it is good to run a track and be like, oh, I got a boombox or whatever, and then most of the time it's light ribbing, oh, you could have got 20 more actions by doing that or whatever, but it spurs you on to do well. And because most of the people I'm really close to in this game are on my friends list, then you're sort of trying to beat each other's scores but in a friendly way. So it helps you get better at the game by looking at their scores and then comparing and then sharing their strategies. Again, I look at your strat of the week, Studfit, and I'm like, I'll try and do that, and I can't do it after 3 turns. I'm just I'll just miss the couple actions there. But yeah, no, it's really handy for all that kind of stuff, videos, and just the general helpfulness of people. it's great. So yeah.
Yeah. What
But
else?
I'll just say for myself, so I like the fact that, I'll wake up in the morning, whatever it may be, and I'll have a few messages, and there'll be someone from the States has said something, or someone from Aussie Kart said something. I don't know. It's just like getting a message from your friends or whatever. It doesn't even necessarily have to be Mario Kart orientated. It usually is, however, but still. And then, of course, a lot of it is about sort of flexing and showing off. But then it then goes further with your really close mates, and you form your little groups, and you start discussing your investment strategies and all that sort of stuff. I absolutely, love that. And for people who've been doing this for quite a while, like all of us, we all go through our ups and downs. I certainly know I can speak for myself and everyone I've been close to. And whenever I felt a bit low, they've been there to like cheer me up, and I've done the same for them. So it works in a multitude of ways. Generally, it's a huge positive. I love it on Wednesdays because I love hearing everyone talking about all this stuff. I don't go on Twitter. I don't know what's happened. I can watch a tour reveal, but other people seem to know all this extra information. They know the hitbox size of a car by 7:02 a.m., which is 2 minutes up. And so I get all that information as well. That's pretty cool. And I just learned quite quickly to steer away from anything which I thought was a little bit negative. There is an element of that on Discord, and if just don't entertain it, then it just doesn't. I just don't even recognize it anymore. So no, I owe quite a lot to Discord. The only thing I really dislike about it is I haven't worked out how to stop the little beeps. Like, I want it just so when people I know beat me, I don't want to get beeped all the time. So I'm always saying, Puff, how do I make it so it only beeps at the appropriate times? And I haven't quite figured that one out. Hence my computer has beeped about 20 times while, I'm hoping that as become isn't audible. But yeah.
I did hear some beeping at the very beginning of the video. I was going
to
message somebody, but I was like, and then I realized that because I'm doing this live and this isn't everyone can see my chat, so I was like, I'm gonna not do that. So just close out your Discord. But the beeps are pretty crazy. I've just muted them all, to be honest with you, because that's one thing is being a content creator in the YouTube and being a part of these servers. People ping me all the time. People ask me to be a part of their server. And I'm like, but I need to be a part of a server. Like I need a bullet in the head. Like that's the last thing I need right now. But I do gravitate towards different channels and kind of go to different communities to ask different things. I always make sure there's a lot of overlap between the members of my server and then also NER. So I always try to ask questions, different questions in different formats, so it's not repetitive for those people. But it's always a lot of fun. We'd love to hear from you guys. Where do you guys gravitate in the Discord community? Pianta, do you have a channel? Do you have your Discord yet? Pianta, started Pianta.
Oh yeah, I do.
Do you have your own, or do you?
I actually don't have my own setup, like my own server. I don't. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Where do you typically hang out?
I usually chill in the Kart Life server a lot. I feel like that's super active. I've been in your server before. I just like where it's like active. Like you go on there, man, and like within like 5 minutes, there's like 20 new messages. And like you said before, tips are great for Discord because I know a lot of more casual players, but who still want to make like the right investments. They're not too keen of how the trackers work. So maybe they'll ask, hey, I'm kind of in a tough spot here. I got 2 level 1 gliders. Which one should I invest into? And most of the time, you'll find someone to help out. So I think that's very helpful. And then like Karim said, there is always a little bit of negativity. You always got that one guy that might think he knows a little more, try to kind of cut you off, but you just got to ignore it. But that's where I'm hanging out in Discord, usually Kart Life. I got a couple smaller ones that I'm in. And this one I want to give a shout out real quick to my buddy Royce. He's in Discord. He's actually super close to me. I met him on Discord. He lives about 45 minutes from me. He went to school with someone that I know, so it's kind of crazy correlation.
But yeah, that's that.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Yeah, I think for myself, it's tough, right? I really I started in the actually long time ago. I was in this one little server, and that's how I met Knights and Wootmoo and then Kart Life, and I found his Discord, and I feel like Kart Life is probably the one server that the kind of world revolves around. People mention what happens in that server. However, I also saw different crazy stuff happening there. And so when I started my channel, I have a members only um, uh, Discord server. And so for me, it's like it's a relief not knowing that like everyone's there to help each other out. It's always positive. I don't think I've ever seen any negativity in there, and that's really a fun place to hang out. But the conversations, some of it's strategic, some of it's about crap or 10 pulls, some of it's about random stuff. But we always have a lot of fun there. And then, I have the ER server, which, much more strategic, much more ticket investment, and it's some about efficiency, probably similar to like the Bam and Gerbs type of server. But I also have been in the propositions Propedons. That one's crazy. I try not to get too lost in there, but yeah, the Discord's a great place. If you are not a part of a server, definitely check out. Start with Kart Life and maybe venture into what you feel familiar with. But there are different clan servers. I think the clans we're all friendly. We're all friends with each other, so we don't take ourselves too seriously. But this is gonna be a good time for us to get an introduction from Seagle. What's going on, man? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry for being late to the party. But
that's all right, man. So why don't you start out telling us where you're calling from and how you got started in Mario Kart Tour?
Well, I'm calling from the UK, and I got started when the game first came out. I've always been a Mario Kart fan, and I heard there's about Mario Kart. I had a bit of a negative impression going in because I had like a stereotype thinking, oh, it's a mobile game. It's probably not going to be good. But I started playing it because I saw my friends playing it when it came out, and I actually had fun. And then I was the only one of my friends who actually stuck with it. And I kept with it since then. I always had this hope that they'd add my favorite driver, Funky Kong, to the game. And lo and behold, it actually happened. And so I happily kept playing the game ever since. And I don't regret it. It's a really good game. And I've been playing almost every day since then. And I recently, in the previous Final Front Tour, I came top 100 for the first time, which is quite an achievement.
Congratulations.
I'm just a gold pass player.
Yeah, anyone who's just a gold pass player or free to play or anyone who's going in and having to save up X amount of tickets and throw it all into one tour, I have a lot of respect for that. I'm curious, what was the experience like for you?
On the first few days, it was pretty nerve-wracking because I'd never gone for top 100 before, and I wasn't sure I had the loadouts. I put my loadouts into the ACR sheet tracker, and it seemed like I could get it, but it's still a bit daunting at first because you don't know if you'll be able to even get all the runs in time. And I think the thing that made it really scary last tour was that there were 3 tracks where I had really bad drivers, which most other people would have had good drivers. It was both versions of Piranha Plant Slide T and Sky Garden T. And I needed the Petey racing suit to get the ACR. Well, it seemed like I needed it. And so I had to try and come first on the week 1 rank with Sky Garden T in there without having a good driver on it.
Oh, wow.
And my ACR kind of hinged on that, but luckily I came first. I got it. I made the weird investment, taking that Mii Suit to 6 straight away and managed to get the ACR.
Nice job.
Do you feel like a new person? Do you feel like you made it? Do you feel like a champion now? How do you?
Yeah, I feel validated. I feel like I'm actually a good player now. I have a little badge to prove it.
On that spreadsheet, what percentage did you end up finishing at?
I ended up finishing at 95%.
That's
my
phenomenal.
estimate was 1.7 million something, and I got 1.649 or something. So almost maxed it.
When it comes to measuring skill, that percentage is one of the best indicators. Just it takes so much effort. There's a point diminishing term right there around 80-85%, and you have to squeak and basically grind your finger off to get even a couple more percentage. So kudos to you, congratulations, great job. I also want to talk with, while we're on the topic of ACR, I want to hear from Karim. But before we do, we have some people that have joined in the chat. So first off, Bob made a funny joke. He said, we need a community with its own Discord server. Hold on. We need a Mario Kart Discord server tracker here soon, just to track all the Discord servers. I see Luca's in the chat. He's calling out his very good GSG supporter of Seagle. He calls him the GOAT. I see Raz out there. How are you doing, Raz? Hopefully you're doing well. It's a hero of the skies. Larry98 is here. Duval, Rocky, Plasma, and I think that's CPE. What's going on, guys? We're doing this live, so if you have a question, feel free to pose it. But on the topic of all cup ranking, Karim, you've been in the top 10 for quite some time. What drew you to keep going for it? And I think the question around the community is, are you going for it again this tour?
Well, it's a definitive no. I'm not going for it again. What drew me into it? The first time around, it just sort of, things were just going really well, and I was just at 1.7 million, having done nothing, and thought, you know what? I can do this. It was a terrible decision. The next 48 hours were horrid, but I managed to get it. And I was like, done for life. Lo and behold, ended up getting, I think, 5 in 7 tours, or maybe 5 in 8 tours. And I don't say that as a good thing. It's once you've got it once or twice, it then becomes a little bit addictive, almost similar to what happened when I first got my top 100. Except top 10 is 10 times, more than 10 times sort of tougher and time consuming and weighing on your mind, that I began to feel it was having negative effects. Like I was not enjoying the game. It was just becoming tiresome, having to grind out those tokens and all that. So I was like, how do I stop myself? I'm not going to quit the game. Let's be realistic. I'm not going to quit Mario Kart Tour. So what am I going to do? So I drew inspiration from, Sammy D's, locking the pipe thing. So what I did is I spent all my car. I had like 40 driver car tickets, and I've spent them all. So I've taken a lot of the Mii's to level 7, and capped, single capped, and double capped some of them. So none of them are still good enough to be like top, maybe top of one track or something like that. But I'm going to need to continue investing in them to make any of those investments worthwhile. So if a new coin boxer comes out next tour or something like that, some big guy, like I can't go and get him. I don't have the ability to. So I have, that's what I've done. I'll carry on playing. I'll still enjoy myself. And then when we were capped out at 1900 on a Mii, and you see my bronze, silver, gold coin block Mii at 8 triple caps, then we'll see who's crying. But at the moment, that's my, strategy to keep myself from going nuts.
I mean, that's a long game that could pay off mightily. So I have a lot of respect for that. But because, I mean, honestly, like that, we don't know. And we even have a couple questions. We'll probably take the conversation there because it's a hot topic right now. It's around Mii's and what to do with them. Man, it's really tough to kind of think about things. But actually, we'll kind of transition there right now. Crazy has a good question. He says, we have confirmation, another fellow GSG member, we have confirmation this tour that the base point threshold of a triple cap Mii can exceed 1,600 points. 1,620 base points is the current max, and there seems to be no end in sight. How far will they take this Mii base point boost? Will it eventually break the game? And to what point will regular plus drivers have no place in the meta? Let's talk about Mii suits.
It's a really great question, and I think Frenzy Fans did a really great job of their Mii Suit calculator, which matches up the Mii Suit base points versus like another typical, so even like a 6 double capped Mii Suit where you've bought all the other Mii Suits already like it trumps it matches like a level 8 triple capped other driver, which is just insane to hear. Like, it doesn't make any sense to people who've been playing the game for a long time. So it's hard to know. I don't think any of us are going to be able to guess. We throw some numbers out there, but I think that the thing you've got to remember when it comes to ACR is that the coverage is just not quite there yet with pretty much all the Mii suits apart from the gold one. So what that means is that they're almost like, I don't know, it's like feast or famine. They're giving us like feast over here, but then it's a famine over here. So, and they do that in quite a lot of ways, how they give coin boxes less tracks in general and things like that. So I think they're kind of playing with us a little bit when it comes to investment and making us think that the Mii suit base points is better than it is when it comes to most of the Miis. But actually, when you look at their coverage, it's terrible. Now, there are some exceptions to that, being like the Gold Mii having massive amounts of top shelf. And of course, combined with that boost, you got to be invested in there. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
I think you got to take into account the second tier tracks, obviously, and the Mii Cup. Like, does that continue? Otherwise, yeah, I would completely agree. But just in a pure, like, if you were to put head on head, at what point are you willing to take a level 8 1400 coin boxer against a non-skill level 8? How many base points does that non-plus skill driver need to have for you to think, you know what, I might take this over a coin boxer? I mean, that's a crazy question. Does it need to be 1800 points, 1900 points? At what point does the coin box get overridden by a non-plus skill? Obviously, the track length and all that can matter as well, but just a general sort of question, a thought experiment. I don't know where you guys feel it would be. Is there a number where you think, I'll take this non-skill level 8, 17 driver?
Bubble Mii would have to be like, or something ridiculous like that. But yeah, no, I the only Mii I've invested in is the PT one from last, because what was it, Piranha Plant Slide T is like, that's built for Boomerang, and I think I had something like better level there, but just I had to use that, and I got like a Boomerang and 2 coins in a fairly short amount of time, and it was an easy 200 actions. And when I think about it, like, I love like all the original characters, but if I were to invest in the Petey Mii Suit, he would kill like my Petey Piranha, OG Petey Piranha, with his base point max and everything. So I'm kind of at the stage where I don't have enough Mii Suits, and I haven't bought all of them every tour to make it worth my while. But in terms of where Nintendo could go, I think the only way they could make it like worthwhile for non-Mii Suits, I guess, in the future is to like quadruple cap, like like the original characters, not the Mii Suits. They're not allowed to, and they've got to.
Imagine if they brought that in, but not for the Miis.
Yeah,
they'll make a lot of people
capping the Mii, and then suddenly you can put no.
Yeah, no, I don't think they'll do it, but I think that's the only way to like equalize it in a way, apart from the the coverage side of things. But yeah,
I've heard people toss that out. I've heard people toss out being able to quad cap drivers that are not Mii's, but you could quad cap original drivers, but you can't the Mii's, which that doesn't make any sense. Nintendo can do anything they want. That's Nintendo, but that wouldn't make sense based off of how the game works right now. To be able to just say yes, everyone can. Like, it would be like saying, Mii's can't, if they release level 9, Mii's can't go to level 9, but everything else can. You're like, what? And that doesn't. Why would you limit the capacity for this item? But you can still, I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense on the way the game is set up right now. So I hear that as like people are like assuming that, and I think they're really hoping it, because it means that they don't have to invest in Mii's, and it'd be the one way that they can save their account, because they see that everyone else going really high with Mii's. but that's wishful thinking, in my opinion, to be banking on that. So, it certainly could happen. I agree, but I don't think anyone should be assuming that that's going to happen. That's really scary. That's really scary to think someone would be assuming
the idea of nerfing something is just not good in my eyes. If you want to, so the Mii's have got this special skill, which is counterbalanced against the tracks they've got, and then if they can find an appropriate limit, let's call it 1650. I don't know, where you might feel, okay, the less tracks, it's worth the base points, fine. Obviously, they can't let the base points go on forever. But then introducing something which completely nerfs something, no one likes that feeling. We like the feeling of giving, like if they come out with a new skill, which is better than Coinbox, I think we'd all have a great time with that. Imagine something better than Coinbox. Mm-hmm. What you don't want to hear is, oh, we're going to nerf Coinbox and the red coins are gone, or the Mii's can't get red coins, or I don't know what. Like, that just doesn't, taking something away from the game is way worse than something new.
I don't think they'll do it. I just think that's the only way to make the original characters at the same sort of level, like scoring wise and everything. But yeah, I don't think they'll do it. And people are so heavily invested in these Mii's now that it would destroy so many people's account. They'd have a massive backlash, I think. So,
but I mean, are they? I mean, the gold suit, sure, but I mean, I don't see a huge amount of whales, shall we say? Perhaps more your dolphins or whatever who have invested in them. I don't see a huge amount of whales. I've seen some in Coin Blockhead, but I don't see a huge amount of investment in me. Is that just me, or am I not just looking?
Well, I see the question mark Blockhead. There's been a lot of people who invested heavily in that, and I think that's really, really smart. Like, that's actually, playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. That's a really smart move. He doesn't have a lot of tracks right now, but like he does have a lot of exclusives. And it seems like a really meta move. I see it, even in rank this week, seeing it there. And to kind of go back to your point about the Mii Cup, like I'm using right now the Gold Mii Suit on Cheap Lagoon, and it's not great, but it's much better than it was with Dixie. So, like that Mii Cup really does mean a lot too. But I think really outside of that, the only one I see a little bit more common is the DK suit, just because that was one of the first ones that came out. So you saw a lot of people getting hyped about it, and then like, oh, I guess I gotta keep going, and they kept going.
It's available.
The other ones I've seen are maybe Petey Piranha and maybe the gold and bronze, but I don't think I've seen a non-plus skill get invested. And I think that'd be. We're getting to the point though one day where that'll happen. I know originally we heard that in the data mining there would be something like 24 assets, attributed to a Mii Cup that could get boosted. So we'll see. We're coming up on that. We'll see what happens from that point forward. But I know I see Larry98 says that there's gonna be 1,000 Mii's. That's what his guess was.
For a spreadsheet.
Sergeant Pianta and Seagle, what do you guys think about the Mii's?
Well, I think Nintendo definitely intentionally balancing them by giving them less tracks, and compared to like the original drivers, they only get one level 6 and level 3 track, while the regular ones get 2. So I was thinking, obviously, people aren't gonna like level 9 or 10 if that ever happened, but if they ever introduced this, they could further try and help the original drivers by giving them more unlocked tracks at those higher levels, and maybe giving them these less or even no unlocked tracks at level 9 or 10. I think even now, having 200 or more extra base points on a driver is pretty insane. I made the decision to buy at least one of each Mii, even as a Gold Plus player, because I foresaw that maybe they might become pretty strong, and I've actually not regretted my decision so far. I've invested in 2 of the Mii's, which are the King Boo one and the Petey one, because they have plus skill. I think for most players, you should still only invest in the plus skill ones, because they're not going to have that disadvantage of, they can't reach the high actions. If it's a plus skill Mii, then it's just going to be the best driver on the track. I think for the non-plus skill ones, probably would need like 1,800 or something ridiculous for me to consider, okay, I'll invest in that one now. But I think the trouble for people who haven't already been buying the Mii suits now is that they're going to be more expensive because all of them were slightly cheaper when they debuted for the 70 rubies. So if you hadn't already been buying the Miis, you're kind of in a tough spot if you kind of want to start, because it's going to be a lot more expensive. If you're not like a Dolphin or a Will and you're like a Gold Pass like me, I don't think you can really start buying them at this point. So I think you might just have to like stick with the original drivers, but at least the plus tier ones, they're definitely still going to be a good investment. I know the King Boo one had some really nice coverage for me, and the Petey one, I invested in both Petey and his Mii, and they're not overlapping too much so far for me. The Petey Mii has like Renaissance T, Petey himself has NNR, so far it's not hurting me too much. I think you just need to take a look at the plus skill Miis later down the line and choose one to invest in. It'll probably be the Gold Mii for most people if you get it, or the question block.
Yeah, for me on the Miis, I've actually never, the only Mii I've invested into was in the Mii Tour. The first tour that introduced to Miis was the DK Mii Suit. I only took it to 4 single cap just because I needed it for Mushroom Gorge and ranked. But that's it. I have the Gold Mii. I just never came across to where I was forced to invest in it. Like I forced my hand into doing it. I've never came across that. But I'm not against it. If I need to, I'll totally take it to, level 7. I have the tickets for it saved up right now. So for some reason next tour I will, but I don't even have the question block head. I had 2, yeah. I think I actually had Jeeves in first place in front of me for the first time in first week's rank. So, there was no touching him. I had another guy with a top 10 badge second time. So I just kind of screwed on that. Man. But that's definitely another Mii Suit I would take to a higher level. But everything else is level 1. I only bought the King Baba Mii Suit just because I liked it aesthetically. I've passed on all of them, but besides that, I have all of the, Rosalina, King Boo, Petey Piranha, all the ones that you get from getting first place, except for question blockhead. But yeah, I can't see Miis being a meta-changing thing unless you got the gold. They're just not good. Like Matt said before, coverage isn't. It's not there. I'm sure they'll sprinkle it in here and there. Give one a track. I think. Was it the Silver Mii Suit, I believe, got a Piranha Plant slide with Lucky 7, I believe. So, stuff like that, if you have it at a high level, you just kind of get, it's like, here you go. You got this for that track. You don't have to outpoke for Petey. But, yeah, Mii Suits, in my opinion, it's not the move unless you get the gold one.
Well, if I can just add something in.
By all means, go for it.
This. Just something. I wrote into Nintendo to ask to say, if how they've got the 9 on sale in the shop at the beginning for like 100 rupees, I wrote into Nintendo. I said, if you happen to have one of those at level 8, is it just shaded out, or does another one get moved in? Because I started to think, wait a second, if I get rid of a few of these crappier ones, are some new ones going to appear that I might consider? Spending 100 rupees on, and they wrote back first of all saying, we are not sure, we will need to get back to you. And then a week later, still, we are not sure, we'll get back to you. And then they said, no, there won't be a new Mii that comes in.
It'll be grayed out then.
Yeah, essentially. They didn't say grayed out, they just said there will not be another Mii in this place, which I was a little bit disappointed for, because I was thinking, wait a second, maybe I've discovered something here.
You beat them to it.
But clearly I had to think about it, because they usually get back to you the day later, and they spent like 2 weeks saying we'll let you know.
They were coding it in the background, but you were beating them to figure out what was going to happen.
That probably never crossed their mind. That's why they were like, oh my god, what do we do?
It's actually probably a more common question in like the ER server, because it's a whale problem, but that one's probably not coming up that often from them, that's for sure. Hey, what's going on? I think Natalie, I'm just going to shout out some of the people that I see new that have joined us. Some good conversation. What's up, Tabor? Tabor's with us right now as well.
Hey,
hope you're doing well, Tabor. Some good conversations. Some talking a little bit about how they came in hot, the Miis came in hot, and then they die off real quickly, at least the ranked ones, whereas some of the other ones seem to have a little bit more sustaining value. We had a conversation about last Kart Talk when we had Frenzy Grind on, and he said, I was just ignoring the Miis, and now it's kind of, it's tough, but I'm I'm telling myself, that they're not that valuable right now, and I think it's gonna be tough. I wonder what's gonna happen after we get to a certain number. I don't know if we'll get maybe they can max out the base points and they keep giving us suits, and then we don't have to worry about keep getting more. Or maybe they have a pipe and we don't know what'll happen, but for those who, I think they've been really catering to new players. And so I wonder what they're going to do with these Mii Suits. If you just started an account like a month ago, you're kind of screwed. You can't really do anything with these Miis because you're not going to be able to accumulate them enough. It's going to be really, really tough. So I wonder how they're going to deal with that. They're going to have to cross that bridge when they get there. But Matt, I've actually really liked your question that you asked about. You invested all your tickets in the Gold Mii. But now you have to pick the next pillar for your account. Talk to us a little bit about your decision here.
Well, actually, I've got quite a unique situation because I have 2 accounts, and one is the one I started 18 months ago, and it was Gold Pass only, barely purchased any packs or anything like that. And investments are pretty straightforward because I don't have that many items, but the items I do have are the right items at the high levels. But I actually inherited a second account, and this account was an ex-whale account from someone in the community who retired. And when I inherited the account, I inherited a Gold Mii triple capped, all the base points boost. So it's pretty insane. But what that meant is, and there is for every decision there is a consequence, and so the consequence of that is that there's a lot of great items. So the massive list of all the plus skill drivers that I would love to invest into, but I don't have the tickets. And now I'm back to 16 or so tickets. And so I've got Luigi Vacation and Pink Shy Guy Ninja only at level 4 single capped, and then every single other one on that list: Yoshi Gold Egg, Rosalina Volendam, Question Block Me, Rosa Chef, Daisy Tie Dress, and Petey Piranha are all still at level 1. So what's my next move and why? This is a real question. I'm genuinely curious what people would do.
I would go coin box.
Yeah, I know that it's going to be partly divided. I know I'm going to probably hear SNESeagle say most likely something Petey related. But I'm with Karim. I think you got to stick to the coin box. I was in not the same situation, but a similar one where I just wasn't able to get Gold Yoshi egg. I wasn't able to get him high. I just didn't have the tickets, and I was so invested in the Gold Mii Suit. And so I kind of had to skip him. And I went into the Tie Dress, that tour that she came out. And because the way that the way I play the game, primarily focused on All Cup ranking, and because they've kept a lot of the same tracks from the tour that she was released in, I'm talking about like Wario Shipyard, talking about Coconut Mall. I'm talking about these tracks that she got really, she got a couple buffs on, or maybe not Wario Shipyard, but Coconut Mall for sure was a big one that I used her on. She's been really, really useful, and in addition to some of these other items that came out around that same time. But that's a very unique problem. But I think she's crushing it right now. She's in the top 10, and we'll see what happens. But my opinion would be, pick a coin boxer and ride that out. But there is something to be said for the Petey and Piranha, and there's a big Volendam fan base as well. She's really strong. She was really peaking there for a while. I think Petey's going to be taking that boombox hype from her, though. What are your thoughts, guys? Coin box or no?
Well, I'm not going to, despite the fact that I love PT, I'm not actually going to suggest PT as the best choice. I think before last tour, actually, I hadn't invested in any of the high-end boomerang drivers. I only stick with Coinbox. I only chose PT because I really like him. I think I would actually agree with Studfit that I would choose a Pie Daisy in that predicament. Gold Yoshi, I know for me, he was valuable when he came out because he had a lot of Gold Mii Suit tracks, and I was like tier 70 at the time. So I wasn't going to have any coverage there. So he would be a great driver. But if you have Gold Mii Max, like on Matt's account, then he actually has a lot of overlap with the Gold Mii Suit. So I don't think he'd be as valuable. And Ty Daisy, she just came out. She's getting great buffs, and she's still probably going to be getting a lot of rank-related buffs. So if you invest in her now, as of this tour, it'd probably be a really good choice. But Volendam's also a really good driver. If you haven't got any of those other ones invested, he's a really great choice. And if you're feeling a bit bold, then invest in PE because he's the newest one.
Can't go wrong with
so
you guys.
I imagine with Aldridge on your this isn't for your 18-month account. This is for your whale account. Yeah. I imagine your coverage is like legit across all the tracks, so you don't need. I think boomerang drivers have a decent. They always seem to have a good amount of tracks. But again, like it depends whether you want to boombox tracks and have that time, or whether you want to get a really decent score quickly. And to be fair, I haven't needed Ty Daisy yet, and I don't have the tickets now. But like having those Daisy cruisers, which are going to be in ranked and going to be in ACR for the next couple of tours at least, and then all the other buffs she's got, she's the only option really. That's the only person I'm looking at next. But I have taken PT to 14,000, not 14,000, that would be insane. 1,400. I'd get a lot of points for him. So but just for him, I invested in him because he covered all the tracks that I had rubbish on, and he keeps getting some really good buffs. Like even in his debut tour when he had the Ghost Valley with what's that, Gold Bones, and then the Mario Circuit with
Cooper.
Yeah, and I hate those courses for coin box. They just curl all the time, and I can't drive them with a coin box. So I got decent runs with him, and he's been saving me since I've had him. So he would be my option after Ty Daisy, even though he's my favorite character now. He's surpassed Luigi Vacation. So
it's crazy to hear this, because I think 2 tours ago people were like, I'm gonna skip Ty Daisy. Ty Daisy's, not too excited about her, but now she seems to be hitting a good stride. I will say Tabor says Petey Piranha Mii Suit is highly valuable in this week's ranked. Singapore Speedway 2T has so many coins that Boomerang can gather, which is unique when a track is boom, like you don't have to worry about boomboxing and hoping for the right be in the right position while someone else has a box. That when you go through that item box, you need a boomerang frenzy, and when you get it, you're getting 40, 50 actions. That's really key too. We'll see what happens with PD. I agree, with Seagle, in that always investing in something early will pay off, at least in the short term. But I think sometimes in these with these, one thing you'll find out from having a whale account, Matt, is that you want new coverage in general. That is like something that's really, really important, because eventually they'll circle in, they'll give, they'll bring back Neo Bowser City, and they'll bring back, Shy Guy Bazaar, and you won't need, the buffs though later, but like these new tracks and having new coverage there, sometimes you can just kind of spot cover these tracks, and whichever one gives you the most tracks, just to invest in that, and that's going to help you in the short term. But I don't even know how you do that. Like, are you going to do all cup ranking with this other account too, or where's your time going to be divvied up between the two?
It's an X whale account now, just to really clarify, because that's that sense of pressure of like taking over an account that is really, really highly invested. So I'm not buying the Mii's, it's Gold Pass only, and then my other account is now free to play. So I'm grinding out the 500 coins or whatever we get a day, and then calling it quits on that account. So some days I'll literally just auto race that account and not play it at all, and just focus on my main, like the X Whale account, which is now my main account.
That makes sense. Cool. So you asked about the
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, hey, hopefully that helps. I don't know if it's more confusing or not. It was interesting, we didn't hear much about Luigi Vacation. I was kind of surprised by that. It was a big favorite here. There's kind of a similar but different question that Stupendous TT asks, with most of the new drivers released lately being meta or a plus skill, does that make non-plus skill drivers obsolete? Or how does that impact the meta from that perspective? How about we start with you, Pianta?
Well, me personally, I think the meta is always going to revolve around the plus skill drivers. I mean, but like Seagle had said before, if you invest into pretty much anything, so let's go for a minus skill driver, let's say Sailor Toad Edge, you got the Mushroom King. Say you take her to 6, double cap, she'd help you out a little bit. Maybe get a couple tracks, hopefully, if she doesn't have any overlap. But, in the long run, and there's just going to be more drivers that are going to probably take those courses with plus skills. I feel like I feel like just the plus skill drivers are probably just gonna run the game. Maybe if they have like a new skill that's like good but not the best, you know, maybe like a middle skill, maybe that'll be something new that they could do. But I don't know. I don't think it would make them obsolete, but I definitely think that plus skill drivers probably still the way to go, in my opinion. Unless it's a favorite character, you know, you like them aesthetically or something, just invest in them. Why not? They'll help you out for a little bit, but.
Yeah, I remember earlier this year, people were wondering what's going to be, you know, the Birdo Black of this year. And man, I just think we just have so many drivers, and they've given us so many plus skills back to back to back. It doesn't matter even if there is one. It can't. It's so buried beyond everything else. I don't know. I wonder if like them giving us 2 non-plus skill drivers this tour is just like, I don't know, maybe cementing their fate, and just I don't even know how Nintendo gets out of this hole.
I think the only way they can address it is by introducing other plus skills that are of the same strength or perhaps stronger. Because I don't know, out of the assumed tracks, I don't know, 220, I don't know. Let's say you've got a whale account such as mine. I don't know the number, but out of the, let's say 220, I reckon there's probably 10, 15 maybe that don't have a plus skill. I might be completely off on that, but that's a guess on my behalf.
I was actually going to ask, can anyone on this call name a single track that doesn't have a plus skill driver on it?
There is only one track, I think, in the entire game, which is
There's only one?
Cheap Lagoon.
Cheap Lagoon, yeah.
That's it.
There was
2 before this tour. But
yeah, Yoshi Circuit wasn't there as well.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's now, right?
Yoshi Circuit
That's
has
got
the
Petey, yeah.
Gold Mii,
And now we got Petey, yeah.
and now has Petey.
Okay.
Baby R had nothing, and then this tour Petey got it. So.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, so all those other drivers, I mean, I guess they're for people making their way up and along. I think in terms of skills, yeah, something new and as of equal strength or stronger. I think something stronger. Imagine something stronger. Imagine something stronger than a coin box. I don't know what you conceptualize that to be, but I have just one character who comes out like once, and then the next one doesn't come out for 6 months. Like, make it rare. But like, wow, you know, that one amazing character that gets you really fired up. Because when I see a new coin boxer now, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. I remember when a new coin boxer came out, it was like, oh my god. Now it's just like, yeah, okay.
You're
Another
like,
one, Boomerang, Dr. 7, all right, whatever. So I think that's the way it should go. They are obsolete. 2 people are in our community, largely. Obviously, I speak more from a whale perspective. But even other people who are not, they are. I mean, I don't hear anybody raving on about, you know, like, what's her name? Explorer, like how many tracks she's got, or new Birdo Black. No one goes on about them. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I mean, even with my account that's only 18 months old, I'm just going to take a look. But I don't think I've ever invested in a non-plus skill driver, even from the start of the game. Like, there's some drivers that I have at a slightly higher level because of, you know, getting them through, you know, yeah, you know, things like that. But yeah, I don't think I ever did. So even as I think non-plus skill drivers have been, I mean, I say this lightly, but you know, they've been dead for a while.
Yes.
Yeah, Luca mentions, you know, maybe Rosalina, Tanuki Rosalina might have been the last of that kind of breed. But man, it's with as many top skills that they've given us. I will say, I had a conversation with Anselov. You know, we go back and forth about different topics. Sometimes just about the top 10 and what we're discussing and how we're going to treat Mii's, etc. And you know, he did some. I don't want to steal his thunder, but I thought it was a really interesting finding that I wanted to share with you guys. You know how last year I went with the Kart meta trifecta and just looked at the last 6 months of tracks and just really focused in on that, because you'll notice this year, you know, we have these tracks coming back up, and we've seen Wario Shipyard and Bowser's Castle and Sky Garden, and we've seen all these tracks come back and back. But meanwhile, Neo Bowser City and Royal Wasteway and Shy Guy Bazaar, like they're almost like now almost nitro cities or nitro tracks in that respect, because they keep giving us these new tracks. And I think it might be to help these new players. But I think when it comes to focusing on your coverage, it is really important to focus on new tracks. There is a benefit to focusing in on those new tracks that come out. I'm already scared of Baby Park and having to invest my inventory around that, because that's brutal. But Antelov was curious. He was like, I wonder if there's a meta trifecta with drivers, from this year. And he said, unfortunately, Nintendo screwed us. There is no way to be able to cover all 32 retro tracks with anything less than 8 drivers. Meaning you have to have 8 top skill drivers in order to cover all 32 tracks. He said he did look into it though. There are 2 drivers that can cover 17 of the 32 new tracks this year. They are Charging Chuck and Rosalina Volendam. If you had those 2 drivers, you can cover 17 of the 32 tracks. So shout out to Antilev on that little nugget there. But they are Warrior Shipyard R, Warrior Shipyard Regular, Mushroom Gorge R, Bowser's Castle T, Mushroom Gorge T, Warrior Shipyard RT, Coconut Mall, Koopa Cape R, Warrior Shipyard T, I think is where it runs out. But it was literally interesting. It just came up this week. But so Nintendo has basically made it so that we can't just get a meta trifecta of drivers. So I do think that's their way of trying to curb this non-plus skill drivers that keep coming out. It's interesting to hear how that goes. There was a question actually that came through the chat that I want to get to, but I wanted to be cognizant of Sergeant Pianta, because you're gonna have to head out here in about 10-15 minutes, and I know I didn't want this to be too not relevant tomorrow. But one of the reasons that I'm doing this live and not just recording this and sending it out later is because we have no idea what next tour will be. Usually on Thursday mornings they let us know what it'll be. So the topic is we were kind of given a glimpse of this Sky High Sunday track that's a part of this Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but we don't know if that's going to be the tour next week. We kind of have assumed that might be it, but we don't know. And then there's the question of, will it be, when it is released, will it be a nitro track? So real quick, guys, and I want to make sure we hit on this before Pianta, you head out, but what's your predictions for next tour? The question comes from Luca, by the way.
I could start it. So I definitely think it's going to be a Sky High Sunday. I think just because with the Mii Suit trailer, we saw the it looked like it had like the green background, so you think it might be like a mint chocolate chip. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like it's a mint ice cream head. So I do think it's gonna be Sky Sunday. And in the trailer, we saw that it said on the bottom of a little note, it said it will be added to Mario Kart Tour. I think it's in the future or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I definitely think it's gonna be next tour. And what I'm curious about is if they're gonna incorporate the anti-gravity section. Because we see that there's anti-gravity, so we know it's been data mined before. I highly doubt that they're gonna do it out of nowhere like this. Maybe they would do like a track from Mario Kart 8 first, like something that originated from there. Even though Sky Sonic technically did, but like Electrodrome, for example, like something like that. I think they're just gonna kind of stick with like no anti-gravity, kind of make it more like a tour track rather than a Mario Kart 8 track. And something that I'm most curious for is what the new driver will be. I'm hoping that it's not a Peach or Mario. It probably will be. I'm really hoping that they kind of blow away our expectations. Maybe give us like a Donkey Kong or a Diddy Kong. Super unlikely. But,
really unlikely.
I know, but it's just something cool to look forward to. That's what I like thinking about the most for new tours, the new drivers. While it probably won't have the best skill because we've been in that high of getting plus skill drivers. It's just still cool to see, and I'm really hoping for something just super interesting, something that's like kind of game changing, man. That's what I hope for every tour. But yeah, end of that Sky High Sunday. I think that's what the next tour is going to be.
I could see a giant banana character with having a banana split or something like that.
Exactly.
I'm with you, man. I'm hoping DK. I'm hoping DK comes. I'm just not getting my hopes up. What do you guys think?
I think anybody that's invested in the chef Rosalina, I know Karim, you've taken her to 8, haven't you? And I know Adito has as well. Like, whoever's got her, I think she's going to be a big player in that tour if it is the Sky High Sunday, which I very much think it is. So yeah, no, but I have never played 8 before. I know someone in the Bam and Gerb servers, they said they played that track today and it looks incredible. So we are in for a treat, which was their dad joke. But yeah, no, I think
oh my gosh,
it looks like insane. But I think it'll probably be a bit like Ninja Hideaway, in which it is so fun to play, but we'll only get to play it like once every so often, which will be annoying. But yeah, no, I'm hoping it's that. And like the head, the me reveal thing, like I'm sure it's going to be an ice cream cone. So
I'd like to chime in again super quick. Just that I was watching footage of the track. I didn't play it myself, but I was watching footage of it, and it seems kind of tricky. It doesn't really seem the easiest for, let's say, like Coinbox, because it's a lot of jumps, man. You know, you're kind of jumping the entire thing. You're going around a big spiral at the top. So maybe this is going to be, like you said, a Rosalina Chef or a Giant Banana track, or Lucky 7 Boomerang. Yeah, I think those plus skills would probably do better on this track compared to Coinbox, even though you could do good with Coinbox, but I feel like just the way the track's set up, it's not looking good for that skill. So I just want to add that in quick.
Yeah, it's a good point. I can see the tropical truck and the tropical balloons getting that track, though. It fits that pretty well, man. That's for sure. What do you guys think? Do you think it'll be a nitro track? Do you think it'll be like one? You know, we have Ninja Hideaway in the spring. We have this Merry Mountain in the winter. Do you think that they'll start adding, you know, a summer and fall and just kind of have these one track that we look forward to seeing, you know, this one specific time of the year, and that's kind of their way that they keep us engaged throughout the year?
Well, look at Maple Treeway. You know, I see he's that track is a good course to invest into in my account with a couple of drivers. But, you know, it gives you pause when you haven't seen it return for so long because we're out of season. So, I mean, my predictions, it's hard to know. We'll find out soon, but I agree with what everyone else has said. I think my prediction is actually that we don't get a new driver at all. I think that this is going to be a filler.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, who knows? But how they'll kind of handle that is that they'll bring Chef Rosa back really quickly, because we're seeing that a lot now. That these newer and plus skill items. So you call it a filler tour if really, you know, it's a plus skill driver. There's a brand new track. We're having a lot of fun, right? So I think that's what I see, and I think that I want to see Chef Rosa get the buff. So let's go. I'm jealous of that level 8 one.
Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to use the word filler anymore. Is what we've been told.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that word, should I?
There's no such thing as a filler tour anymore, because if you get a new track, if you get a new driver, apparently it's not. I still think that baby cat tour that was a filler tour. You can't change my mind on that. All right,
I think
go for it.
Next tour will be Sky High Sunday as well. I can't imagine that Mii Suit being anything else, but maybe Nintendo will do something.
Man,
surprise us.
There's so many times they've trolled us though.
True.
What do you think? Do you think it has to be?
We might get a Lucky 7 driver, but we haven't had one of those in a while. I think the last one was Chuck, excluding the Mii's. So I think we can get one of those, but I don't have any hopes for it being something interesting. I mean, I love DK. I would be so happy if it was him. Although then I might be screwed for a top 100 because it's so soon after. I think it would just be something generic, like a Mario Peach or whatever, but probably a Lucky 7. And as for the anti-gravity thing, I don't think we'll explicitly see anti-gravity, like the wheels are turning sideways, but it might just be like some kind of like anti-gravity sticky road where it's basically anti-gravity, like kind of like that Wario shipyard, like tilted ship part, but it's basically anti-gravity, but you can't really see any like special effect that tells you it's anti-gravity.
I just wanted to make one other point about your what you said, Studfit, about it. You know, is it a nitro course? And I think, you know, my thoughts on this are that as the game goes on and as we get more and more courses, which doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon, you know, the coverage almost becomes less important, and recency becomes more important.
Yeah.
I know it's something that Flo and I have been working on a lot with the Ticket Time Tours, introducing some form of recency buff. And I know that Antelope did a great job of including recency in the top 10 as well. Because I think that's so key now, especially for ACR players, is, yeah, it's all about the recency of the courses and how often they're returning. And you look at some of those, you know, ones like, I'm less excited about investing into some of these newer courses now because they're just, we don't know if they're going to return as much. Like you look at Daisy Cruiser, it's a great course, but it's very themed, and Ice Cream is very themed too. So how often is a course on a cruise ship going to return to a tour where it fits the theme? It gives me pause.
That's a good point. I would, here's the thing though, is they've been giving us like Vanilla Lake all summer long. The remix one, you know, and they were giving us, I don't know, they were giving us what, Cheap Island in January, February. So I don't know, it's gonna be tough. There are times though, like where Maple Tree Way, I would love for it to come back. It's one of my favorite tracks. But yeah, you're right. It is kind of more seasonal, and you know, Vampire Flyer hasn't been as active this summer. I'm using it every tour. But I mean, I know it's going to have a strong presence in the fall. We'll get the Ghost Valley come back, and we'll, you know, they do stick to some themes, but for whatever reason they love this Vanilla Lake, and they, you know, I don't get it, but
it's a type of ice cream, isn't it?
Yeah,
Vanilla Lake, Choco Islands, some strawberry course will come out soon, and then you have the whole Neapolitan.
Yeah, food's always popular. But I mean, think about it, an ice cream tour could be great in the winter. You know, it could hit, you know, another frost or ice cream theme. You know, I could see them tying those in there somehow.
Yeah.
Some type of week revel.
And it's summer over our side of the world, then stuff it as well. So.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. You guys are the exact opposites. Yeah, hopefully you're enjoying your winter, Matt. But yeah, it's a good point. So, Matt, you actually bring up a good question that came up from last tour. You said in the last episode there was a great discussion about stepping back from the game, and I thought I thought you put a unique twist on it. You want to take it from there?
Yeah. Let me just find that question. Sorry, just give me a moment. I have that here. But yeah, I think it's really just, you know, this week we saw Zephiel step back from top 10. I don't know if you guys saw that on YouTube, his community post. But, you know, I think I commented on there and I said, like, I really support, you know, his decision in that because, you know, it's taking a toll on his mental health and, you know, well-being and wallet and everything else. So I guess the question would be like, would you ever see yourself retiring? And if so, and I think Karim, you talked to this quite well with what you've done with spending all your tickets and locking away the keys. But, you know, do you see yourself playing this game till the game ends? Or do you see yourself like, what would it take for you to retire, and what would a retirement plan kind of look like?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start off just because I know that might, you know, it's kind of weird having a YouTube channel and then stepping away, but you know, it's weird because I love this community, and it's interesting. We had also in last episode talking about what our spouse thought about us playing the game, you know, and it's weird after that episode, I was, you know, having a conversation with my wife about you know, the show and that question specifically, and she's like, you know, if Mario Kart Tour went away, I wouldn't care. And I was like, you wouldn't care at all. And she's like, but I know it's important to you. I know it's something that you enjoy, and I know that's like, you know, you don't hang out with, you know, these friends as much or these friends as much, and you know, in some ways your Mario Kart friends are, you know, some ways replacing other friends that you would have hung out in person with. But she's like, as long as you're getting, you know, your social interaction and you're not she's like, actually I like the fact that you're playing the game with other people and not just by yourself. If you're playing by yourself, that'd be kind of weird. And I was like, that's a good point there. But I do think, you know, for me having a channel and being so involved in the community, I even see, like, say Puffton, she's not even playing the game anymore, but she's so involved in the community, and she absolutely, like, you know, she has so many good friends, and she met a Scott that just joined our server this past week, and so she was super pumped about meeting a fellow Scottish person. So again, you know, I think from this perspective, I don't see myself stopping away from the game until they turn off the game, and I think
Hopefully
there are people
never, right?
Well, people, I do think people like are relying on me too to come out with stuff, and I will say it is hard to come to get like do say strat of the week. You know, I can't be as consistent with that, and I feel bad because I know some people really really do enjoy it, and I know it's really helpful. There are times where someone, a good example would be John Boy gave me a good strat. And I just wasn't able to record that weekend on the Petey Piranha slide, you know, where you dive in and get the extra item box. And there's a great strat from this tour as well, going down in the Singapore Speedway, the one that was in ranked last week. I just wasn't able to record, wasn't able to get it in, so I felt so bad because, you know, there are these strats and maybe someone doesn't know about it. You know, there's some that aren't as helpful, and so sometimes I have to make the decision. Like a good example would be the Singapore Speedway. I don't really think it's that helpful because you drop combo almost every time unless you got a frenzy. But then also too, it drops you way back. Like you go from first place to 8th place immediately. And so unless you're doing lucky 7, like that strat's not going to really help you out that much. So like I have to decide these things. But you know, for me and what I want, my plan for the community, my plan for Mario Kart Tour, I don't plan on stepping away from it. If I step, you know, back a little bit and I'm not coming out with as much content, you'll know why. But that's where I stand on it. But it's an excellent question. I think we all have to ask ourselves at some point in time, especially with COVID-19 somewhat behind us and moving into a awesome weather, and at least for everyone except for Matt, we're all going outside and having a good time. So what are your thoughts, guys? I mean, what do you step back? Do you step out? How do you kind of gauge that involvement with the game?
I think I'll go real quick just because probably after this question I'm gonna have to head out, but I can't see myself stepping away from Mario Kart Tour. There was actually a time where it was actually the tour, I forgot exactly when it was, when Santa Bowser was released, that I didn't play as much. I didn't get him. I didn't pull, I remember, and I wasn't doing my daily logins. I kind of, you know, not that I wasn't interested in it, but I just had some other stuff going on. I didn't have the time necessarily to take that I usually would, you know, to maybe try to earn some rubies, try to pull in the pipe, even though I knew it was a valuable coin box there. But I can't see myself stepping away until, like you said, until they turn off the game. And with the way it's going now, I can't see them doing that anytime soon. The game is thriving right now. I think it's bringing so much revenue. The way that the developers seem to be really on their A game, producing fantastic retro courses, new courses, just really nice looking carts, nice looking drivers, gliders, man, everything new. The generosity of them too has been great. And it's just been bringing in more of the casual audience to like more of like the whale audience, you know, they're kind of meeting and they're kind of understanding the technique about the game, the strategies that they would take to get these high scores, like boomboxing, for example. So yeah, kind of strung off. But with that being said, not stepping away from the game, no matter what. And one more thing, my most wanted driver for the game is King K. Rool. I want
Yes.
King K. Rool in this game so bad. And I said that if King K. Rool gets into the game, I'll be like so satisfied. Like I will like go crazy. So like that would like make this game worth it. Is if King K. Rool was there. I know it's super unlikely, but I just wanted to throw that in there, man, because that is something I'm just so like set on. That's like my favorite gaming character of all time. But
yeah, he's big in Super Smash Brothers. You know, and everyone's talking about Cranky, but I think King K. Rool would be way more cool to have in the game. He would be
Right, yeah, man. I mean, his animations, you know, him like jumping, he's a big heavyweight, probably giant banana or a coin box. Just be great, I think.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Sergeant Pianta.
Yeah,
we're going to say goodbye, but thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me, man. I hope to be back soon. Ronnie, Matt, Karim, Seagle, great talking to you guys. Great having this conversation. Chat too. It was great, man. So,
yeah, anything you want to say to your fans, definitely go check out the link in the description to check out Sergeant Pianta's channel. But anything you want to say before you leave?
Yeah, like something to say. Check out my channel. That'd be great. I only have a couple videos. I don't really post much strategy set videos, kind of just wish list prediction videos, just stuff that I'm super jazzed about at the time. So that's all I got, man. You know, subscribe.
All right, we'll send you out with a fist pump. Jersey fist pump.
Oh, baby.
See you, buddy.
All right, guys. Take care, man. Thank you so much.
Take care. See you later.
Take it easy.
Cool. Yeah, Johan asked an interesting question. She says, sorry to interrupt. Anyone like cats? Not sure if, you're a big cat fan, Ronnie?
I was until the Cat Luigi pipe where I had to go down to like the last pipe or the second to last. I was actually going for the Wonderful Wings, and I got that. But yeah, no, that cat tour, killed me rubies wise. I thought I was going to invest in him because I loved Luigi's, but then I decided actually I'm going away from non-plus skills. That talk earlier, like it's so much more fun driving with good skill characters, like trying to get a double coin frenzy or ending up with a capsule, frenzy where you can't hit anything. It's just like infuriating. So yeah, no, the cat tour killed my Luigi love a bit, and then gone straight to the plus skills, and I've done a lot better since then.
I don't think I've ever thrown a capsule actually.
No, it's terrible. The single was actually all right, but the frenzy, it's a bit like fire flower or ice flower, where it just throws a single one, and it doesn't. You can't hit anything. You're just like, this is going to get. It gets you quite a lot of base points. Like it's even better than a super bell or something, but you can't hit anything. So a score of 0, it's like not good for anything.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, talking about the future and talking about our joy in the game, Luca asked a question, member of the GSG, said, hope everyone's enjoying this tour. With the Gold Mii Suit being the strongest item, reward in the game, and tier 80 being the highest tier, what type of better reward could we expect from the game in the future? Maybe a new plus skill, maybe Gold Mario, maybe I saw in the chat someone mentioned even the vacuum skill that we've talked about in the past. What do you think will come out? Do you think there'll be a tier 90 and something even better? Or how do we top a top prize like the Gold Mii Suit? Is anything coming for the anniversary? What are your thoughts and predictions for a better item than the Gold Mii Suit?
Well, I know that Gold Mario is programmed in the game to have like a coin vacuum skill, which it's like a weaker version of Boomerang, but constantly active, where you keep sucking coins. That, depending on the track, that might be better than a coin box if there's lots of coin rings, but I don't even think, I think in general that might even just be worse than coin box. Unless you're like resetting for lobbies that have coin box spots and you do like a boom box without the Boomerang. I think if they were I've like thought about how they could make an item like that's better than coin box, and I think what I thought of is like, if they made some kind of item that was like blooper and lightning where it hits everyone, but if they made it so the frenzy also still hit everyone and they didn't hit one burst at a time, that could be pretty insane. So you're just getting a hit on everyone with every tap. But then
sounds like you're describing Giant Banana.
Yeah, but like I think like if you imagine like lightning and you just use lightning like 9 times in a row, that'd be like insane. That'd be like 60 actions or something.
That would be pretty crazy.
But they'd have to balance that as well in some way.
Like in the back in like Super Mario World and all that, you could get the P switch and then coins would appear. Like I don't know, there could be like coins hidden somewhere throughout each track, and if you had this item, you pressed it, coins would appear, and so the more you familiarize yourself with the track, where the coins would appear for a certain period of time. I don't know. I'm struggling to think of something, but that's something from the old game, I suppose, at least. Making coins appear, not just randomly in front of you, but certain points in the track. And as you became familiar with the track, you try and use it at those points. But I don't know how that would work with an item against a frenzy, for example. But no, hitting everybody, like a lightning sort of thing, that's a pretty good shout. I don't know. Coin box is so strong. What do you do?
The only other one which would be similar to lightning would be like the POW block, but I think that would just be like similar to a lightning, or like where it just reduces everybody or spins them out. Like it's just going to hit them a certain amount of times. What I don't get is like when you've got to tier 70 or whatever, you get the 6 cap tickets for finishing first, but like we get so many of them now in the token pipe. If you're pulling that, and you're pulling it a lot, although I've got none this tour, which is really infuriating, but getting why don't they introduce some level tickets into it? So, or for me, that would be better. I need level tickets more than I need cap tickets at the moment, and that would mean I would try and level up more in it, so I could try and get those tickets back somehow. Because I've got no tickets for Ty Daisy or anything like that, but I've got cap tickets coming out of my ears but I can't use them on anything because nothing's a good level now. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think, unless you're a whale, like getting the Gold Mii Suit and taking it straight to level 7 or level 6 or straight to max, like that's great, but I've got it and I don't have enough tickets to actually take it past level 1 at the moment. So getting another Mii Suit for me isn't going to do anything as a medium orca or whatever you call like a mini whale.
Yeah, I think I struggle to kind of turn off my rational brain and think that Nintendo is going to come and try to change the meta. Every time we have these discussions, I really enjoy it, but I'm like, I just don't see it happening. Because if you look at everything they've done this year, it's very much about balancing the game. So for them to like change up the ranked rewards and give something, really, really crazy good in there, better than the Gold Mii, I just don't see it happening, because while the Gold Mii was an amazing reward, it took so much time and effort and resource to get that was the cost. So was the cost worth the reward is still a debate for me. I think what they could do, which could be, I would be really stoked about, other than the level tickets, Ronnie, I think that's great, would be to actually put really high value items in ranked as the ranked reward. So let's say, I don't know, yellow off-roader, or something like that some people still don't have, but that would really make people go after ranked if they put these, not necessarily new items, but like items that with existing decent coverage, bringing them back, and especially carts, because you need carts, right? So getting like a decent cart and by winning ranked would be really, really good.
Yeah, I could see that. Again, I'm trying to. The question is, still around, like what could Nintendo, what is Nintendo going to do? Because they've been coming gangbusters, guns hot all year, just giving us new things, then coming out with the Mii, and then coming out with this and that, and then I'm just curious, how do they top what they're doing now, and how do they I guess dangle a new carrot? Is it going to be related to the anniversary, or is it just going to be a new carrot? I don't know. And, it's fun to talk about. You're right. I don't know how my guess is like, it's not going to be anything new when it comes to like a new skill. It could be. I hope they do. But I always feel like they're going to do something, out of left field. I remember when we saw the cap tickets for the first time, we were like, whoa, like going up in base points, yeah, that would change things substantially. And, now they consider, a cap ticket more valuable than a level ticket, and in some respects it is. But I don't know. It's kind of things like that. It's kind of things like the Mii Suits. It's kind of things that we're not looking for, other than just giving us a new skill better than Coinbox. I think Coinbox will always be the top skill. I don't think they want to, provide any higher level meta than that. But they keep raising the bar, and we'll see how high that bar goes. One thing that kind of, while we're talking about that bar, and we've kind of touched a little bit on earlier, but Big Brolo asked a question. All 6 ranked tracks features at least one plus skill driver on the top shelf, which is fitting the way that 2022 plus skill Fest has been going so far. However, it's not always been like that. So back in 2020, there were ranked cups with a Black Yoshi, an Explorer Peach, and a DK SNES. They'd save you from a tough spot. But this they gave non-plus skill drivers a sense of purpose. Now, 2020 and 2022 are a stark contrast, as we've already discussed a little bit here in this episode. But his question is, what era of strategy would you prefer? Do you like having all these plus skills, or did you enjoy having DK SNES and using Peach Explorer, this non-plus skill gem driver ranked Warriors of 2020, or an oversaturated plus skill marathon of 2022, and you're just picking your favorite plus skill? Which era did you enjoy the most?
Happy medium, personally. I just know from going, especially for top 10, like, you think, Coinbox is easy and a fun one, but when you've got like 30 Coinbox tracks and some of them are like 150 actions long, like, honestly, I ended up dreaming about doing boomboxing. I was so happy to boombox a track. So I actually would have quite liked going for a double coin or triple coin or double coin and mushroom or something like that. It would have been a nice change of pace. if you end up just doing the same 4 skills over and over and over again, you're then relying entirely upon the topography, the gaming, the bots, and grinding them down, which can just be a tad dull and dreary. So I think a little bit of going back, I think there's too much at the moment.
Is there a time, maybe I'll even tweak this question for everybody, but is there a time period of the game that you enjoyed the most, that just, you know, it was pure fun, there was no, you know, nothing jading it whatsoever, where you absolutely loved the game, no one could stop you from enjoying the game? What was that peak like, and what was that point for you?
For me, it was when I first started combating top 100, because it was a real challenge, and I made it. I was like, whoa! But it felt like I'd accomplished something. It was tough, but it wasn't too difficult, and it just drew me in. And I just kept wanting to do it, and then I then found that whole other community who loved the same other thing. Whereas someone else who doesn't do ACR really, and you'd share an action count with them, they wouldn't get it. It's that whole sharing aspect of things. When I got 225 non-stop, and they'll be like, oh, great, you know.
Yeah.
It's
what track are you talking about? Yeah.
It's the people that at that point in time, and whereas now I feel, as I mentioned at the very beginning, a bit of an obligation. And this is the first tour I'm not going to complete the token pipe. I need to take a step back. So it juxtaposes quite nicely against back. I remember that tour, my first top 100. It was better than my first top 10. I'll be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, for me, I think the most fun can be had in just going for top 1,000 and having fun there. And, you know, having the loadouts, that top 1,000 is easy, but still a challenge, right? So I'm like an 87% type player. I'm not a 90% plus player. And that's not based on necessarily skill level. It's more just on pure grind time. I just don't have the time to get the frenzy luck to get the ultimate runs all the time. So yeah, for me, that peak point would have probably actually been the Doctor Tour, where I went for my first top 1,000. Had a lot of fun doing it. It wasn't too challenging, but it was challenging enough. Like I had that sense of purpose. I went after it and I got it. And, you know, just that feels awesome. But, you know, I do, agree with Karim that there can be that sense tour after tour going for ACR where you feel this obligation. And it's on a smaller scale, but for me, like being able to recognize that step back. And for me, this tour, I won't be emptying the token pipe. I'm not going for ACR at all. And I'm enjoying it. You know, I'm just recognizing that.
For me, Space Tour was my favorite tour. It was the first time I'd actually invested in a driver straight from the get-go, and like not always items, but I took Satella straight to 6, and double capped, and he was used so many times, and that was the first time I filled in like the spreadsheet, the DKR, and actually properly like introduced myself to playing more than 6 tracks a tour, because I was getting quite bored at that point. So I thought I need to like mix this up, or I'm going to just I'm going to have to give this game up. And since then, like I've enjoyed it so much more. Like I can actually properly, like apart from Calamari Desert and Cheap Cheap Lagoons, like I generally enjoy most tracks, and it's fun to actually try and beat your scores on them. Like, and again, like I think I'm at the stage where I don't even have to put my stuff into a spreadsheet anymore. I know I can get top 1,000, and I want to get to the stage where, and this is where I'll probably then take a step back, like where I can try for a top 100, get it, and then be like, okay, I'm just going to enjoy this game.
You realize though, once you get top 100, that's when you're hooked. Like you're going to keep coming back to the well.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling myself, and then I'll be hit like all you guys. But I want to get to a stage where I don't need to play it, but at the moment, like, I'm scared of playing it less and dropping out. And yeah, like the token pipes are killing me recently, and I've stopped, worrying about them as much. But at the start, I was like, I have to drain all 31 because I might get, 45 rubies there or whatever. But now, like, it's too much. Like, I want to be playing with my daughter. Like, I remember your last Kart Talk where, like, Frenzy Guy was talking about, like, not paying attention enough. And, like, I don't want to get to that stage where I'm not engaging with my family or friends and stuff. And I've done it occasionally, and I've just felt crap afterwards. So I think if I ever get to that stage, I'll either just go back to ranked and not play at ACR anymore, or I'll just have to drop completely because I'm not letting that happen again. But yeah, Space Tour, from then on, it's been great for me. Loved it every tour since, apart from Doctor Tour, I think. For me, terrible.
Seagle, I assume your peak was hitting this top 100. That's because you put all your eggs in the basket and you went all out.
Yeah, I think the peak for me was definitely last tour, getting my first top 100. It really felt like a challenge and an achievement that I actually got it. I had to use almost all my tickets, and it definitely made me feel anxious, like, oh, am I just burning all my tickets and I'm not even going to get it? It's a bit embarrassing, but when I finally saw, yeah, I think I'm going to get it, and then it's like, yeah, I've got it. Definitely felt really good. And I went for it last tour because they added a really good track, Bonaparte Slide, and Petey Piranha, one of the drivers I really wanted them to add to the game, almost just after Honky. And I'm just really happy last tour. I don't know if they can really do anything to top last tour for me. Then your first top 100 will be a special place in your heart, especially when it's a tour that you really like. But maybe if they add some other unique driver that's really crazy that I really want, but yeah, I think last tour was definitely my peak.
Heat score map, sorry, I got a heat score map. When I got a heat score map over 95, that was a big moment because that's really hard.
That's really hard.
I know there are people who throw numbers around of like 98, 99, 100. Frankly, I just think they have different phones. But yeah.
They have that frenzy machine.
Yeah, I don't know what they do. But yeah, getting to 96% on one, it was very close, top 10. And I was beating out people who were getting like 101% because I had better loadouts. Did I feel bad about it? Not at all. But 96%, and I was like, okay, wow, that's me. I can't push it any more than that. That's the highest I can do. My brain can't take any more of that. I felt pretty proud of that, and that was needed to get that top 10. So, yeah.
Crazy agrees with the token pipe, and it's something that he has to deal with. Like, you feel like you have to get it, but who's telling you have to, And I think we're all kind of getting to the point where it's like, hey, it's nice to pull them. Maybe I'll clear them all. Maybe I won't. I'm not, except for on the coins on the track. I'm not really focused. Like right now with the hits, like if I get them all, that's great. But like when it comes to coins on the track, man, I'm dreading that because I know that I have to if I'm going to do really well with All Cup ranking, because I know that there's a huge advantage at the end of this rainbow. Just seems like that rainbow never goes away. So yeah, I don't know. I almost would wish on those tours they would take it from 31 pipe pulls to 21 or something like that, just to make it a little bit more digestible. But yeah, guys, we're coming up on now 2 hours. I know we started a few minutes late, so we'll kind of take the last maybe 10 minutes or so just to this is the kind of the way we've been wrapping it up here lately is, what would be one piece of advice for a new player that you have here? So as you say goodbye to your fans. So first of all, Karim, congratulations again on as many top 10s as you got. How many total have you gotten, by the way?
5.
Huge effort there. Congratulations on that. What would you like to say to your fans, and what would be one piece of advice you'd give to a newer player?
Well, to my one fan hero, I would say to him, get a haircut. No, I'm kidding. No, what would I say to a new player? I think I said this last time. I think getting player up to level 150 should be quite important. Getting your and focusing your investments on coin boxes, enjoying the game, embrace the community. Yeah, that's all a little bit of waffle I've given there, but I don't really know what else to say, really. You just got to enjoy it. If you enjoy it, you'll progress. If you don't enjoy it, you won't.
Well said. Well said. Well, Seagle, thanks for joining us again. Sorry you came in a little late, but I thought you came in hot and you kept it on a high level. So what would you like to say to your fans? What would be one piece of advice you have for a newer player?
I think I only have one fan, probably Luca. But I think for newer players, the most simple advice I can give, if you're like interested in getting to like a high tier and doing well, is pull for the coin boxes and use your tickets on the plus skills. Those have the most long-term value, but just always be aware that it's okay to lose rank sometimes. It's okay if you don't get if you don't get the ACR when you try and go for it, or you don't get the ranked reward. Sometimes you're gonna lose, and other times you're going to win. Just try to enjoy the game, and eventually, if you just stay investing in the coin boxes and the meta items, then your account is going to get better and strong, and you'll be able to probably get ACR almost every tour without trying, if you wanted to.
Solid point there. While we're on the topic of ACR, Matt, what would you like to say to your fans? Definitely check out Matt Aldridge, Aldridge, right? Aldridge.
No.
Right? Yep. Check him out on YouTube. Yeah. The link is in the description. But what would you like to say to your fans, and what piece of advice would you have to a newer player?
Yeah, just a massive thank you to the community for getting involved and supporting the channel. It's been really cool. What I'd like to say to my fans is please subscribe for me to help me get to 1K and beat Draco655 for 1K subs. But I just love this community, and I love the healthy competition that we have going on. We're all actually quite competitive, which is quite fun. And, whether that be YouTube subscribers or ACR score, we have a lot of fun. So thanks for supporting me, and check out my channel and like and subscribe. But, I think to newer players, what I would say is save your resources. Do not spend a ruby. Do not spend a ticket for the first couple of months of playing. Because firstly, at those lower tiers, you can win ranked every single week. And you can collect those, those rubies and whatever they give you in the lower tiers in first place for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I think it must have been, months before I struggled and ranked when I started playing. So I'd say save everything and then start looking into Discord, start looking into some of the rundown, and then get a tracker and get that set up so that you can actually look at what items you're going to kind of build your account around. Because once you've started investing, it kind of forces your hand on other items because of overlaps. So the first few items you invest into are probably the most important ones, because that's how you're going to build your account.
Really solid advice. I don't think I've heard it here on Kart Talk come from anybody. So great job there, Matt. I will say, my Draco655 is one of my good friends, so I do have to defend him here. He's out in the chat. In fact, he's been spamming the chat with Go Matt, but no, he's. I'm really hoping you guys both hit 1,000 subscribers on the same day. Hopefully within the next 30 days. That would be an ultimate win for me and seeing you guys both win there. But I absolutely love you and Draco655. Also saw Alexa out there. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody throughout the 2 hours together. But what an awesome time. Ronnie, what would you like to say to your fans, and what piece of advice would you give to a new player?
To my number one fan, Bob Lob Lob, hello, how's it going? And to the proper Donnies, I've got to give them a shout out. They're the reason I still play the game, just because they're so much fun to be around. But I talk to them more than I do to my normal friends. I don't have many normal friends, I don't think, mainly because I'm playing Mario Kart, I think. But actually, I enjoy just logging on, them giving me advice, like the tracker, as Matt said, actually I've upgraded the Green Cat Cruiser.
Oh, the Crap Cruiser. Wow.
I nearly said something else. And that brought me like 6 really good tracks for me. And I know lots of people would go nowhere near that with the hitbox or whatever, but that suits my inventory, and it works with, like, you know, who I'm using. Like for Boomerang, it's absolutely fine. So don't worry about someone saying the yellow off-roader is good, and that is a great car, and it's still a great car for me. But like, just do you. Like, I used to invest in Luigi's, and I still did all right with it. I've never got close to ACI 100 until I properly invested in the plus skills, but I still have great fun. And just invest in who you like. One piece of advice I remembered from, I think it was your rundown, like, if you're really starting new, just keep resetting your account, pulling on the special pipe, and hoping you get a vacation or charging chuck. And if you don't, do it again, just so you get a good starting selection of drivers, and then you can go from there. But yeah, apart from that, I would say Tracker, Bamgerbs, and Riken Back Tracker is the go-to. Obviously, Anti-Lev does his strand of it, and so does Ben, and they're both awesome. Really good resources. I can't think of anything better for someone starting off, but also for people like us that have had accounts for ages. It still helps us upgrade, you know, who we think is going to be the best over the long term, and for ACR as well. And yeah, I'm going to check out this Ticket Time as well, because it sounds like a great resource to use. So I'll plug that, even though I've not used it yet.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Larry98 shouted out the his favorite part of the game was the auto clicker, which we've seen. I've seen a lot of people coming from the Bam and Gerb server loving the auto clicker. I have an iPhone. I'm jealous. This is the first time I actually. What's that?
Like, do they just like get all their tokens and all that all done?
Yeah, they just.
They also end up with like a level 6 Gold Mii Suit if it goes wrong.
We've seen some horror stories where the auto clicker goes on like its own tangent and accidentally levels up something you don't want it to. So, yeah, you're playing with fire a little bit, but that's if you can get it down perfect and get the right template and stuff, it saves you a lot of time when it comes to those tokens. But I have an iPhone. It's the first time I've ever not wanted an iPhone. So yeah, certainly good shout out there. But yeah, all the different Bam and Gerbs versions, whether it's Rambach or Antilev or Ben, we have links to some of those in some of our videos. Absolutely love all the different resources. DKR.exe has a great resource as well. To kind of going back to the peak, so I created a Gold Pass only account for my son called Tiff Duts, and my son played it for about 2 weeks and then gave up. And I was like, well, I got to get the rubies because I'm. You can't just leave an account and tear down. You got to tear it up. And maybe one day he wants to play, and I got to tear it up. And then next thing you know, there's like an obligation. I kept wanting to grind, so I gave it away to Kart Dada's son. He played it for a while. He really loved it. And then he, got a little older and wanted to do some different things. So now Jeeves' son is using that account and enjoying it, from what I hear. But then my son, when we were doing member multiplayer Mondays, I don't think I've ever gotten it right the first time. But every Monday we play multiplayer. We're doing it for the month of August. You only have to play twice, and you pick the best 2 scores from the month. Anyway, my son's joined me in the VC, and they had so much fun. My son's like, "Hey, can I get a new account?" And he's like, "I want to play with you guys. I want to play Mario Kart." And I was like, "Really? This is a proud daddy moment." And so I created a new account for him, and he pulled on the special pipe, and he did get charging Chuck, and he got funky. And he was laying in bed, and he's like, "Dad, this is last night. He's like, Dad, I really want that Luigi with the sunglasses and the shirt." I said, "Yeah, buddy, he's like a really good driver. He's got Boomerang, and yeah, he's going to be in this pipe." The thing is, the pipe closes and ends tomorrow night. And he's like, "What, Daddy?" He's like, "How am I going to get rubies? Daddy, do you know how to get more rubies?" I was like, "We're not going down this path. I'm not going to let you know about packs, buddy, because that's going to ruin both of our worlds." So we'll see. I might restart his account and make sure that he gets Chuck and Luigi, but he might be devastated. He really likes playing with Donkey Kong, and he really loves Rosalina for some reason. So he's already, though, looking forward to playing member multiplayer Mondays with everyone. So we'll look forward to that. But as my last comment, Puffton gave me strict instructions. I need to answer her question appropriately. We kind of touched on it earlier, but asking about Discord. And for me, I'll answer this, and this will be my kind of going out moment. But what's been the pros and cons of building my community on Discord? I will say the pro that I had, and this would be, my charge of Matt, if you create your own channel, or Pianta as well, is I love having it members only. There's something nice that when I open up the app and I go there, I know I'm going to see something positive. I'm going to see a friend posting something I want to see, as compared to just spamming and negativity and stuff like that. So that was a huge pro for me, and getting to know a lot of people. I will say, having so much support, I wouldn't have the Discord channel, honestly, if it wasn't for Puffton and Larry98 and Hero of the Skies and Edidle and my mods, because they especially Puffton and Larry98, they've jumped in and supported me so well, and Puffton's been doing my thumbnails, and she did an awesome job. I can't wait, because we're live right now. I can't post a new live video, but she made an awesome thumbnail for tomorrow, doing this Boombox Friday. I can't wait to get it in front of you guys. But Puffton's it's been great to see her graphic design prowess be able to come out, and her continuing to evolve as a graphic designer. And Larry98's been going gangbusters. In fact, we've already talked about it. He's going to be on the next Kart Talk, and which will be his 1-year anniversary from being on the first Kart Talk that he was ever on. And he'll be hopefully releasing his new spreadsheet with all kinds of new gadgets and gizmos, and we're so excited. He's been working really, really hard behind the scenes. So that's a huge pro, just seeing other people willing to help me out, and also see their evolution and see them growing as people, and that's so much fun. I think cons, the only thing is, like, there's sometimes where like maybe 2 hours go by without a comment. I'm like, I got to comment. Like, even though I'm like, I'm running late for this meeting, but I got to comment, because I got to stir things up. I got to get people, feeling like they're getting good value and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of pressure, but that's really the only con I have. Everything else is just, there's so much fun. And honestly, that keeps me going in the game. If there wasn't for Discord, I probably wouldn't be as excited about the game as much as I have been. But it does suck you in, and there is some time management that I have to do. But that would be my recommendation as I wrap up, is to a new player, I would highly recommend connecting with some community. Playing by yourself is not how this game was intended to play. It's way more fun enjoying these experiences, sharing your posts, sharing your good runs, going for action count combo king or queen, being able to join for member multiplayer Mondays. It's so much fun just to be able to hang out with people that also love this game. And who knows, maybe you find some friends along the way that will be lifelong friends. I can't wait to connect with Jeeves in Chicago later this month. I've met Edidle and Firestorm and physically in person. So again, if I'm coming to, I might be coming to a city near you. Who knows? Maybe I might connect with Pianta and Frenzy Grind in New York City. We'll see what happens. But thank you guys all for joining. I appreciate it. Anyone want to add anything else before we say goodbye?
I was about to say that if you come to the UK and go all the way to Norwich and don't come to London, I'll be very, very...
I'd stay in London. Like, once you go to Norwich, you don't get out of it.
So no, you best make your way to London. So no, man, Studfit. Yeah, no, you've done an absolutely awesome job. I wouldn't have done those 5 top 10s if it wasn't for yourself. So I give you a huge amount of credit. Awesome. And the way your Discord conducts itself, I think it's really top notch, and I say that having been in a whole bunch of them. Loads of them are very, very good as well, but others not so good. And I always know it can have a good time in, with the stud fam and stuff. So yeah, well played.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. Thanks for those who are live with us. It's been an absolute blast. I see Crazy with some last minute comments, but we're gonna wrap up. Thank you guys so much for joining, and until next time, may the frenzy luck be with you. See you guys.
Hey guys.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.